One.
How we doing? I'm Chef John Bell, and we are on our third episode of Quarantine Cuisine. I'm excited to give some information to students and those that want to learn a little bit more about food. Tonight we're going to feature Thai food. It's pretty authentic for the most part. There's a few ingredients that I do not have available, and the main thing to know about Thai food is it's a poor culture. They use pretty much what they had available, but the basics of it is there. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about what we're doing tonight. We are going to be doing, it's not technically a pad thai, but it's similar. We're actually going to be doing a stir fry. Although stir fries are a Chinese technique, they have adopted it in Thailand, and most Thai restaurants in the United States have adopted American things that Americans are familiar with, which is more Chinese because they kind of took over our country by storm when they worked on the railroads. Anyway, we're going to be doing a red curry, and this is homemade. I will post the recipe for the red curry. There's several different variations of red curry. It can be spicy. You can adjust it. I'm using a little bit of culantro that I grow and cilantro, which is a major ingredient. They also use the seeds from cilantro, which is coriander, which has a very lemony, acidic smell to it. We have a little bit of dark chili powder, a little heat. We have some paprika, some Thai basil, cumin. We have black pepper, salt, a little bit of lime juice. We have a little bit of fresh ginger, some fresh garlic, and then our vegetables. The biggest thing to know about Thai food is that they eat to be very healthy. It's really important. Everything they eat has more than just the nutritional value that we think of or having just to fill their stomachs. It has a lot of municipal qualities to it. So everything that we have here has a purpose to it. And most Asian cultures are like that. The Koreans are probably the most precise in making sure they cover every part of the body with the color of a food. Most Asians believe green fulfills a part of your body, red another part, and so on. So our vegetables, we have bok choy. Bok choy is one of the healthiest vegetables on the planet. Bok choy has tremendous amount of antioxidants, cancer-fighting ingredients, and as we're going through this virus, the coronavirus, it actually is an antivirus, so it will help you to stay healthy and fight off that virus. It helps your immune system. It helps with your eyesight. It also is anti-inflammatory. It has tremendous amount of vitamins and multiple healing properties to it. It's a phenomenal vegetable that people should put into their diet. It grows well in Florida. It grows several times a year. You can buy it at most grocery stores, and if you can buy it organic, this comes from a farm called Dirty Dog Organics. Everything here was shipped yesterday, actually. We have a little bit of asparagus. I know Thais are not usually using asparagus, but you can use any vegetable you want. I'm using asparagus because it helps clean out your kidneys. It helps your liver. It helps your lungs and your blood, so that's really important. We have some fresh zucchini. We have purple, yellow carrots, which are tremendous amount of vitamins. And as you notice the cuts, this is called a batnet. It's a rectangle. It's thick. It's about 1/4 of an inch thick all the way around. This is a fine julienne. So that for my students, batnet, fine julienne of peppers. We have some red and green peppers. So that's the vegetables we're going to use, and we're also going to use a New York strip steak. Okay, so what we did is, this is a noodle dish. I pre-cooked some noodles. Now, noodles come from China. Traditionally, Thai noodles are made with rice. They're clear. When you buy them from the store, they work really easy. Just soak them in a little bit of ice water before you cook them. And I'm going to show the way that I would cook my noodles. And to give it a little more flavor, a lot of people have their own ways of doing it, but I pre-cooked the noodles. This is regular spaghetti noodles. I did that because I prefer the flavor of them. I like the texture a little bit better than a rice noodle. That's a personal preference. Okay, so the red chili paste is basically all the spices blended up with a little red pepper. This is a Thai pepper. It's very small, extremely hot. So be careful if you use the peppers that the recipes call for if you go online looking for a recipe. You can adjust it with the jalapeno if you want a little less spicy or whatever flavors you like. You can make it a little bit less potent if you need to. Traditionally, it has a fish sauce that goes in the curries. If you are vegan, obviously you're not going to use something with fish in it. This is vegan. It does not have any fish sauce in it. Again, it has ginger, garlic, culantro, cilantro, some basil, some chili powder, cumin, coriander, black pepper, salt, a little lime juice, and I put a little bit of coconut milk in it to give it a little bit more texture. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to get everything going. It's going to go fast. So what we do is we have our wok. We're going to get our stove on very hot. And I have some infused lemongrass oil. That is another, the lemongrass leaves I break down and I make an oil out of them to get that flavor. So we're going to put a little bit of oil in the bottom. You don't need too much, but we want to get that flavor. I cut the lemongrass earlier. That also goes in the red curry paste, that lemongrass. Another ingredient that's rare in the United States, for example, is called Kefir lime. And it's a lime tree that you actually eat the leaves. And if you cut them small like I do with chiffonade, where you roll it up and slice it really thin, it has a really vibrant lime flavor to it. They grow a lot in the Keys. In this area, they don't grow real well. When I lived in the Caribbean, we had some Kefir lime trees where I'd use the leaves for a lot of different ingredients where I cut them up. I use the traditional lime leaf, and it has a very similar flavor. You just have to, when you cook it, I remove it afterwards, kind of like a bay leaf, but you'll still get that similar flavor. Okay, so we're getting our wok ready, and what we're also going to do is we're going to start our sauce for the noodles. So we're going to get that going. Now, when you're cooking rice noodles, so we have coconut milk here. Okay, so we're going to put our coconut milk in the pot. Now, if you want to thicken it, you can use cornstarch. That's traditional in most Asian cultures. So we got our coconut milk. We're going to add our garlic and our ginger right to the coconut milk. Many people cook their noodles, especially rice noodles, they'll cook it in water. Pad Thai, you should cook it in a stock. So we're making a flavored stock basically with the coconut milk. So we have a lime in there. We have our garlic. We're going to put a little bit of salt. Again, we use Himalayan salt, a little cracked black pepper. So we're going to season it like we are the food. A little coriander. Okay. We're going to cut up our culantro and our Thai basil. And we're just going to get it cut small because we want the aromatics. Thai food has lots of aromatics in it. A lot of fresh ingredients. By using fresh, you're getting all the municipal qualities out of it. For example, Thai basil, which grows really well in Florida, it's a much different flavor than what most people think of traditional basil. Thai basil is antiviral, antibacterial, and loaded with antioxidants, which is great when you're not feeling well or when you're trying to stop it. We're going to stop the wok for a minute while we get the sauce going. We got nice and hot. We want to get this cooking up. We want it to come to a boil. Okay? We're going to put just a tiny bit of lime in it, and we'll put a little bit more in as we finish. We just want to get that acidity. Okay? And then we're going to take some red curry. Now, I like it really spicy, so I'm going to be a little careful because my wife and my son are not into spicy. And I think I made it just a little hot for their taste, but we're going to add a little bit to it. And as it starts to cook, you'll get those flavors in it. But we're seasoning the stock so that when we put the noodles in there, to cook, if it was a rice noodle, I would cook the rice noodles right in there. I would not pre-cook them. I would just put them in and let that suck up all that juice, and you'll have a nice wet thing. If I wanted a peanut one, I could add peanut butter right into this instead of the stir-fry part of it and get the flavor of the peanuts. Traditionally, you would use a different flavor. You wouldn't necessarily use red for that. You'd use more of a green chili paste. So we have our noodles. Once this boils, we'll put our noodles into it. Now that we have our wok going and it's ready, we're going to start with our meat. Now, Asian cultures differ from European cultures. In the European countries, they like to brown their meats to caramelize it, or to, that Maillard reaction to get that flavor. Asians will put their onion and stuff in it, and they'll put the meats in at the last. So I'm going to add a little European to it. Put the meat in, no seasoning, just to get it nice and brown. Okay. We're going to take our onion and get that ready. And what we're going to do is we're just going to slice that really nice and thin. You keeping the knife on the table and the tip on the table. So we're going to take our onions and we're going to put that on the other side because we want them to brown a little bit. We're going to give that a nice little coat. As you can see, our sauce, our stock is starting to go, and you can smell the herbs and the spices and that ginger coming out of it, which is really nice, and that culantro. So we want that going for a couple minutes. Now we're going to season the meat a little bit, just a little bit of chili powder, a little bit of cumin, a little paprika. We're not going to add any more pepper. Just a tiny bit of coriander. It gives it that nice lemony flavor. A little cracked pepper. A little bit of salt. Now we're going to let that go. I turned down the stove because it is electric, and we got to kind of balance that out. Now the veggies, you can cook them all about the same. So what we want to do first is we're going to put the peppers in with the onions after they started. Put them up top. The biggest thing to remember is, if you look at a wok, it's sloped. The reason is the meat needs to cook longer, the veggies need to cook less. And as you put it in, you're going to put it around. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the veggies in around. So like our carrots are over here. And our asparagus we're going to put on the other side. We're going to let that brown for a minute before we start to stir it in a little bit, okay? As that's cooking, you can start to get the smell from it. The nice aromatics of the vegetables. But we want to brown those onions a little bit and that meat just to get a little bit of that flavor. But we also don't want to overcook the meat. Now, in Thai cooking, they do a lot of boiling of foods or cooking them in it. So they put their meat and stuff in here and let it cook in there, and that'll give it flavor as well. I like the flavor of it being browned a little bit more. So we have our noodles going. Our stock. We're going to put our noodles in there. Like I said, you can use any kind of pasta you want. The biggest difference is this is made with flour, where Thai noodles are normally made with rice. They're much lighter. If you can't have wheat, go with the traditional rice noodles. I prefer the flavor of this pasta. I like the texture better. Like I said, it's a little chewier. So I like that. So we have our pasta in there. And basically what we're going to do is just going to let it sit for a couple minutes to start to absorb, and then we'll stir it up and it'll loosen up that pasta. Now if you look at the meat, it's starting to brown a little bit. Your onions are starting to brown a little bit. So we're going to take the wok and we're going to just give it a little flip. That's what those edges are for. See, nice color. We want everything to kind of blend in. Okay, you can use tongs if you want. If you don't have a wok, you can use a saute pan. There's nothing wrong with that. You can hear it searing. That's what we want, that nice flavor. So it doesn't overcook. Bok choy and the zucchini cook really fast. So we're going to put that in now. Spread it out. And the bok choy I cut a little bit differently. You want a little bit bigger. I don't like the texture of spinach. I like a little crunch in it. We're just going to let that soak in just for a minute. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit more red curry in there. We're not going to go too wild. Now, personally, I would put most of that in there if I was eating it. But if you don't want it spicy, and when I made it, I tend to make things a little spicier than most people. So if I went into a restaurant and I said I want Thai hot, it would hurt me. So be careful if you go to a real Thai restaurant. Don't challenge them for heat. They will hurt you. They can eat things way hotter than Americans can. Okay, so we got our pasta. You can see it's starting to soak up that nice liquid. And the aromatics are beautiful. It's very refreshing. We're not overcooking the vitamins in the spices or herbs. Just like with the wok, everything's fresh, so we're getting them nice, holistic pieces out of it. The healing powers of those vegetables, especially that bok choy, the asparagus, tremendous amount of iron, vitamin D. There's vitamin C in there, vitamin D. I don't drink milk. And you can get vitamin D from a lot of other things. Number one, walk outside and go in the sun for a little while. That's probably the best way to get it. You don't ever have to have cow's milk if you don't want it. I do like cheese. I just do not a fan of milk itself. It's about 80% done right now. We don't want much of this. It has a little texture to it, and it has a bite to it. So I can taste all the flavors. That's really important. Okay, now, what I am going to add to it, just for a little sauce, I'm just going to put a quick shot of soy sauce. And I'm going to give it a quick shot of the coconut milk, because what that's going to do is going to take out some of that bite of that pepper and of the red curry. So it gives it a nice flavor. So we have nice colors, beautiful colors. Our pasta's ready because it was pre-cooked, so we got a nice flavor, and it's nice. There's not any liquid left in there. It's all absorbed into the pasta. Now if you use a rice noodle, it'll suck it up the same way. When I lived in St. Croix, we did a lot of pad thai at the restaurant I worked at. And when I was first playing with the noodles, I couldn't get it right. And then when I started cooking the noodles from a dry state directly into, I'd soak them for about 5 minutes while I was getting everything ready. And I'd drain it and put it right into that coconut flavored milk. And our sales quadrupled within a couple days when people realized the flavors and the textures that were way different and better. Mm-hmm. Okay, as you can tell, there's very little sauce left or juice left into the noodles, and that's what you want. You want it to absorb into the pasta. That's really important. As I'm talking, I tend to get a little ahead of myself, and I might mispronounce a few things. I meant to say semolina flour, which is what this pasta is. Municipal and not municipal. So I correct myself. Medicinal. Sorry. Okay, as you can see, there's several ways to plate. If you get a traditional pad thai, it's usually going to be in a bowl, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you can also make it more elegant with a plate. I have a little bit of microgreens on top of it. It's a micro salad greens. It has a little bit of radish in there, which I wanted to add to that flavor. And just a tiny bit of dill that I think will enhance it as well. The key factor is all the ingredients are still fresh. You can see the colors of everything. They're not overcooked. The meat is tender, it's about a medium, but you're going to get the vitamins, everything's in there. That's the point of putting the sauce in there and putting it all together, so you have all the ingredients that you need to help keep you healthy. As we go through this corona time, being healthy is important. It's easy to do. The prep work takes a little time working with your knife. It's good practice. It takes about an hour to get all the stuff ready for it, and it literally takes about 10 minutes to cook. So while you're bored throughout the day, just cut vegetables in between commercials or shows you're watching, put it in the fridge, and then when you're ready, you can put it together. Again, there's a tremendous amount of healing powers in these things. The bok choy helps with diabetes. It'll keep you from getting diabetes if you eat it enough. It helps with heart disease. It helps with so many different things. Eat fresh, enjoy, and teach your family to have a better experience with taste of food, so when they travel, they'll experience it more. I'm glad that you were able to join us, and I hope you got something a little bit out of this. So get out of your comfort zone, look up some Thai recipes, look forward to some of my next coming videos, and have some fun and love of the food.